The following contest is the first featuring 3 title bouts that are featuring women's Muay Thai. Amateur rules in application, 3 by 2-minute rounds, and it's going to go down in the super bantamweight division. Ladies and gentlemen, making her debut, fighting out of the blue corner with the blue trunks, weighing in at 56.3 kilograms. She fights out of Fighters Inc. in Cape Town. Please welcome Sarah Fish. Now introducing and fighting out of the red corner, making her amateur debut with the red trunks, weighing in at 55.7 kilograms. She fights out of Camp Fight in Cape Town by way of Pretoria, Gauteng. Let's hear it for Verne, Prinsloo. Well, ladies and gentlemen at home, while they practice the Y Crew, if you're watching us, it's because you found us on YouTube. The Thaiholics Fight Promotions YouTube channel, youtube.com/channel, and a whole bunch of Z's, Y's, underscores, and 5s. But basically, Thaiholics Fight Promotions on YouTube.
Type it in your search bar, you'll find it.
Follow us on Facebook, Thaiholics Fight Promotions, Instagram, Thaiholics_Fight_Promotions. Stay up to date with the play. And of course, we have an event that's already lined up, 23rd of July, right here in Cape Town. It's going to be TFP 5. It's called Level Up. Grandwest is the venue. The headliner is going to be revealed in the coming weeks. And it's going to be mixed card pros, pro-ams, and amateurs. Also worth mentioning the return of Anthony Mailer. He's going to be fighting Pedro Kasoma. Obviously, Pedro is going to be fighting later in this card. Obviously, if he comes through unscathed, setting up the fight against Anthony Mailer. Shane Deacon is going to be making his return, taking off the ref's jersey and taking off his shirt altogether because he's going to be fighting. He's going to be up against Jean-Luc Ardendorf. It's going to be a title defense. Of course, Ardendorf won the Eliminator at TFP 3, Continental Collision. Ishaq Ibrahim, the champ, is back. He's up against Paul Combal. That's also going to be a title defense. So 2 WMO, South African national titles on the line coming up. Grandwest, 23rd of July, TFP 5. And also, we got merchandise that's for sale here at Grandwest tonight. If you're interested, place your orders, admin@thaiholics.com.
Yeah, those title eliminators were great fights on the last TFP card, on the undercard there. It's also great to see some of the guys, you know, coming back into the sport. Paul Combal, I know, is out for a while, and, you know, he's been training back at MMA again, but it's good to see him in the Muay Thai gear. It'll be an interesting fight as well. I mean, he's here tonight. He gets to watch Pedro Kasoma fighting Martin Avery later, and he'll get to have a bit of insight there as well.
Up close and personal, as these two ladies are about to get up close and personal. Amateur rules, 3 by 2-minute rounds, super bantamweight division. Verne Prinsloo fighting out of the red corner with the red trunks. and she's going to be up against Sarah Fish from Fighters Inc. in Cape Town. Blue corner, blue trunks, weight pretty much the same, 55.7, 56.3. Not a lot of difference, and both fighters making their debuts tonight, so we're going to see exactly how far all of the training, the preparation, and of course the effects of the famous adrenaline dump when you make your first appearance at an event like Thaiholics Fight Promotions.
There's a lot of crowd support here for Verne. It's good to see the Camp Fight guys filling up the seats. Both guys making their debut, both girls making their debut, but I see that Sarah's got a little bit of experience. She's done some white-collar boxing and kickboxing. Last year's medaling, silver medal at the South African Kickboxing Championship. So, yeah, at least she's got a bit of experience there, bringing forward. Let's see how she goes.
Both these ladies come out of established camps here in Cape Town. Camp Fight, David Dornbrack, the coach over there, he's produced champions out of that gym himself in both MMA and Muay Thai. Of course, Devin Raychos, who's going to be later featuring against Anisha Mayman. She's from Camp Fight. And here, Verne Prinsloo, Camp Fight, with a lot of spectators calling her name when she got announced by myself earlier.
Yeah, and again, there's the Pro-Am title taking place this evening. Zoe Klaassen also fighting out of Camp Fight. She will take on Kristen Clark from Nakaeng. That'll be the opening of our main card later this evening.
Sarah Fish, of course, fighting out of Fighters Inc. And these ladies are wasting no time getting stuck into each other.
Yeah, it'll be interesting as well. Verne might not be as used to the southpaw style. I see that Sarah's been switching between the two. We'll see which one she's more comfortable in, but it seems to be the southpaw style.
Bit of a blue corner thing, because the fight before as well, featuring Carl Eckerman, he seemed to be switching between left and right. Sarah Fish doing the same thing in the blue corner tonight.
Yeah, it almost speaks maybe a little bit to the gyms that they come out of. You know, a lot of the MMA gyms are big keen on the idea of switching stances and being able to fight out of any position. It's quite important, but it also can add to your repertoire, but a lot of times it's also good to focus on that one style where you're most comfortable.
Of course, because the combination of defense is always going to be more recognizable if you're always practicing it from, say, the right hand or the left-handed stance. As soon as you start mixing up, you got to know how to defend from all sides.
For sure. Nice work in the clinch there. Both ladies landing some good knees. Verne using a reach, stepping back off the strikes and then countering. That's pretty good work from her there.
Happy to throw that straight left hand of hers. Seems quite accurate so far. Narrowly missing with a swinging kick to the face.
Gave her a whiff of the toes.
Verne Prinsloo makes Sarah Fish pay for that mistake.
Good work there. Narana Dean jumping in, refereeing in this evening as well. I happened to sit in on the referee's course while the guys were doing their refreshers, and I was helping out with the sparring. It was just great to see that the guys, you know, these champions, former champions, Naran's actually scheduling to fight again this year, but giving back in different ways, and also enlightening themselves a little bit about the other role in the ring. Third person in there is the referee. As a fighter, it's always good to know what they're looking for as well, where they're gonna, you know, maybe help and jump in. So you also have an idea, okay, the referee is looking for activity, so I need to stay active. As a knowing what the referees are looking for, it gives them an insight on what they should be doing as fighters as well.
And of course, if you're a ref and a fighter, no excuse for pulling the odd little cheaty. You got to be straight down the line, because then, of course, your refereeing is going to be called into question. As the two fighters are in the corners, the whistle goes. Seconds need to get out right about now, and we're going to get underway with round number 2.
Yeah, so with these amateur bouts, we have a 1-minute rest period in between. Pretty quick, but it gives you enough time to at least catch your breath, refocus a little bit, take in some instruction, maybe a little bit of water.
And of course, suck in the ambience of the crowd that is shouting for Verne Prinsloo as they go to work in round number 2.
Verne's pretty strong with the punches, good in the clinch.
Starts off as the aggressor.
Style. Yeah. And that's important as well for Muay Thai styling. The judges will be looking on who's putting that pressure on, who's landing the clean strikes as well. Not that Sarah isn't doing that, she's also doing the good work, but I think that Verne's maybe staying out of her range and then countering. So every strike that Sarah lands, Verne's got one in answer.
Good action so far from the first about 3 ladies, but of course And I announced that I butchered it a little bit. I was stuck on title fights because there are title fights coming up tonight. And there's a women's title fight coming up tonight. The WMO South African National Championship is going to be defended. Zoe Klaassen is going to be stepping into the ring. And it's going to be action all the way to the end. Of course, our main event for the WMO International Welterweight Championship over 5 rounds. But as we focus back on the ladies here, Verne Prinsloo is making the most of the pocket.
Took a big shot there, but shakes it off, shakes her head, sister. That didn't hurt. Comes forward with some punches of her.
Both ladies have been very calm. No one seems to be panicking. There doesn't seem to be any messy kind of situations playing out with terms of gripping and holding and throwing.
Yeah, I think it's also got to do with their range finding. So they seem to be pretty good at keeping that range, keeping that distance. I guess a lot of time when you're coming forward and looking for that closing of that space, that's when you tend to make those sort of mistakes and the wild rushes.
If you want to look at feints in the sport, you're seeming to see a lot more feints coming out of Sarah Fish, throwing sort of, not wasted hands, but something that blinds Verne Prinsloo.
Yeah, it's maybe just to get a gauge on the reaction of your opponent. Put that foot down and see what they do. If they lift in the leg, you're maybe going to go under, you're maybe going to hop in and throw a punch instead of the kick. So yeah, sometimes we just use feints as a way to gauge reaction and see where we can work from there.
Sarah Fish, the happier of the two, walking back to her corner with her hands raised. A reminder, there's a 3rd round to come.
Yeah, we're seeing some heavy breathing from both corners.
Repay's lined up, and here we go. Round number 2's action.
Both fighters really active and have a good combination of using their kicks and their punches, not just relying too much on the Muay Mat style, which is the punching. They're good all-round fighters, it looks like.
Could you just say that word again?
Muay Mat. Muay obviously being the fight style that they're doing, Muay Thai, and Mat meaning punch. So a punching Muay Thai fighter.
Can't get more blunt than that from the bluntest man on planet Earth, Carl Bergman. Of course, you fought in Thailand. You know the language pretty much of how they speak in terms of how they present fights.
Yeah, but we also use the Thai language in our gym. We count in Thai when we do our techniques and reps, and our coach likes to shout at us in Thai, so we do know when he's shouting from the corner what he's saying. When he's telling us to kick and punch and elbow.
Round number 3 underway. Sarah Fish in the blue, Verne Prinsloo in the red. Close fight so far, Carl.
Yeah, last round for both fighters to put in that work and to convince the judges that they deserve that win. Big slip there from Sarah.
Nothing much to read into that slip. Again, it seemed to happen when she was switching stances.
Coach Fidar shouting combos, but I think the whole fight, all we've seen is combos. Maybe it's time to look for those big teeps and big punches.
Great straight right hand from Verne Prinsloo.
Yeah, definitely seems to be catching Sarah as she's coming in, trying to close that distance. There's not a big reach advantage, but just the way that they maintain, the space between them seems to be favoring Verne. She likes to take a little step back as Sarah's coming in, and Sarah's throwing a strike and stopping in front of her.
Succession of right hands coming in from the red-cornered Verne Prinsloo. As she's looking on to pile on the pressure. Last 55 seconds remaining of round number 3.
Yeah, and definitely getting frustrated by those shots coming in. Even though she was shaking her head earlier, that they don't hurt, but I think in succession, taking multiple of them is definitely doing a little damage.
If you've just tuned in, Verne Prinsloo walked into the ring with those bruises on her leg. She's obviously had a hard fight camp coming into this. I'm not saying that Sarah Fish hasn't.
3 ladies fighting out of the camp, because you're putting in the work. You see them on Instagram, egging each other on. It's great to see.
Fantastic training partners you can have, especially for women. It's not as though it's a case of the women jumping in and training with the guys and sparring with the guys. You've got to have women to spar with as well.
Yeah, especially guys who are on a higher level than you. We see that this is Verne's her debut fight, but what we've seen from her, she looks like a slick. She knows what she's doing in there. Lifts her hands. The body language tells you, I think she thinks that she's got it. I tend to agree, but we'll see what the judges have to say about that. Big hugs in the corner. Coach Vidar puts his fight up in there. Good work from Sarah Fish as well. Good technique. lots of defensive work as well. I think maybe just in that last round got a little bit tired and maybe started eating a few big shots, but definitely recognized that she needed to put the pressure on, and that's why she would have been walking into a few shots. Fighters greeting the opposite corners there, just giving their respect to the coaches, cornermen, and of course the fighters themselves paying respect to each other. So yeah, we see it's just a volley of punches from Verne as Sarah was coming forward. She just piles on the pressure, landing shot after shot. We go now to the center. Referee Narandadin has the fighters ready to call the victor.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards, declaring your winner by way of unanimous decision victory, and fighting out of Camp Fight in the red corner, Verne Prinsloo.
Great effort there. Hugs all around again. Good work from the Camp Fight team. I'm sure they'll be hoping that that pans out for the rest of their fighters as well tonight. We also have Luke Turner up next fighting out of Camp Fight. So that's obviously why they have a lot of support from the crowd here tonight. Coach Badar and Sarah Fish taking some pictures there. Of course, always disappointing losing a debut, but I think they can take a lot of positive out of that fight. Good technique, maybe learn a little bit about that, firstly just keeping that distance, and then working on maybe counter striking and not being the aggressor every time.